Is it moving? Are we going live?
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Hello? Oh.
To the Attitude for Gratitude, presented by 2218. I hope everyone's having a wonderful Friday here in May as we start to get kicking off the summer and enjoying that. And, you know, like I said, this is Tad here, and I'm chilling with my best friend,
Timmy J.
Hey, Tim, cut the promo.
2218. It's where we're talking to you from. The place that's going to bring you the ride for recovery. The place that does recovery okie. The place that's going to have a rap battle. That's where you're hearing us from. That's 2218, the one who holds meetings, the ones that never close their doors. So with all that said, I just went deaf, and no, I'm not. Okay, you turned it down. So here's the deal. If you're able to donate some money, it's really needed here at 2218. It's an older building. We're doing lots of upgrades. We're doing lots of things, big things, making big things here. And we could use all the help we could get here. So with that said, we're going to have some links going on. We're going to have ways of being able to donate. You can go to the 2218 page. You can go through what you're listening on now. Come down here. Donate some time. Volunteer. Get involved. Be part of this recovery thing. It's really needed. So that's the promo.
Hey, I got a couple of things. Well, one.
Get at it.
So tomorrow at 2 p.m. out in Moore Park in Coon Rapids, there's going to be sober flag football. We're going to have walking tacos. The suggested donation is $5, but if you don't have $5, just come check it out. It's going to be a bunch of us just playing flag football. It's going to be a good old time. I'll be there. Tim won't be. He's going to
be catching fish.
He's going to be catching fish. So
yeah.
I'll be catching tuds, and he'll be catching fish. So, you know. Maybe we'll meet up somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, it could happen. It'd be a weird deal, but it could happen.
It won't even be the top 5 weirdest things. So that you and I have done. Which so, hey, how's your week going?
Shit, it is going well. Like, weather's changing. I dealt with some life that showed up on life's terms, but you know what? Work is still work. I still show up for it. Like, doing recovery on a daily, meeting with people outside of recovery rooms, having breakfast with people in recovery. Like, my life is recovery, but I've also been able to evolve into life, like these responsibilities and what have you. Like, my week's been going great. We're doing this checking in type of thing now. I know it sounds a little different than normal, but we're going to check in with this audience. So why don't you tell me how your week's been going, Tad?
Oh, dude, my week's been pretty fantastic. Couple, you know, the usual, running around like my head cut off. had a day of rest, and then yesterday, one of our guests and you took me out to a Wild game with another good friend of mine, Jesse.
I almost forgot to bring that up.
And that was freaking amazing. It sucks that we lost, but I forgot how much I love hockey.
Right.
And you know, going to see hockey. As opposed to watching on TV, right. Oh man, we were tuned up. We had a great old time. Some people probably thought that we were higher than a kite or drunk.
That's what I was going to get at. Like, we had a blast, dude. Oh. And we didn't need no alcohol. Didn't need Coke at play. Like, we didn't need no rips, nothing. Like, but we were having a blast. Like, that's you say you.
And
you
we
forgot.
may have seen a local celebrity that was just tuned up.
But you know what? That's just fun to see. You know, you can recognize it while we're clean and sober. But what I was gonna say is, like, you're talking about, you forgot how much you missed hockey. Like, I forget
because I quit going when I didn't have money to go to games because
Well,
I was spending on drugs. And,
And here's the thing. I forgot. It doesn't take long for me to forget, like, going out with some friends and doing some sober activities. Like, I forget how much fun this shit can be. Like, you get caught up, for me, I get caught up in doing, like, going to work all the time, worrying about bills, getting to the meeting,
Dude,
doing my charity.
had I known
you know?
it was going to be a playoff game, like
I didn't
and
even
had
know.
a week, I would have painted my face green. It
Right.
would have been nuts.
I didn't even know. Like, I just, like, my brother is the reason I knew. I told him, like, oh, yeah, I might get to go, or I was offered tickets. He's like, to the Wild game? And he started losing his
Yeah, my
shit.
friends started getting mad
Right.
at me because they were jealous, and because they're huge hockey fans. I
Right,
got a
yeah.
huge group of hockey. They're like, you didn't even know the Golden Knights were a team, and
Like, is that
and I
Vegas?
didn't. I didn't until Tuesday, and then but
Yeah,
it's,
I didn't even know. So
oh,
you
dude.
you forgot you love hockey that much, and
Yeah, because I went all the time with my
spaced
dad growing up.
I
And,
spaced the whole thing of like that camaraderie of being out and doing sober activities.
Well,
Like,
yeah, and one of the reasons we're doing this check-in is just so that people know what's going on, and we have our little bit before for people to get to know us, and hopefully maybe it makes them feel like they're a part of our lives and they can feel more comfortable.
Anyone
with
listening
us.
is.
We have some shows available in late July too.
Yes.
Coming like the last 2 Fridays in July, we have available shows. So if you have suggestions or you yourself want to be on the show,
Yeah.
get at me at Tad Ackerman at Gmail, tadackerman1@gmail.com, or Tad Ackerman on Facebook. Just let me know why you're talking to me,
Right.
because otherwise I don't know.
Right. And you can get at me too. I'm on Facebook, Timothy J. Warren on Facebook. Same thing. You got to let me know why well, I know sometimes if you're just trying to become a friend, it doesn't give you an option to tell me why you want to be a friend, but I don't decline friendship requests at all. So, and you know what I'm going to do, like I've been doing every week, I'm going to put my phone number here in the chat. So anyone who wants to reach out to me, and I'm good on checking in, but we're going to, Tad's going to explain how this is interactive and how everyone's a part of this, but I will put my phone number down. So if anyone wants to ask questions personally and not be public on the chat, just reach out to me and I will personally bring the question up without your name.
Hey, as Matt, a former guest and friend of the show, Matt K, has said, sober volleyball is tonight from 9:30 to midnight at Ham Lake Lanes. Go check that out if you're able to. It's a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite activities. It's the reason I'm usually not here when I'm gone. I'm at
Right.
volleyball, or the one time I had COVID.
The one time, yeah.
Yeah. But so that being said, this is an interactive show. So if you're not interacting, it can't be interactive. The questions, and as we have seen in the past, the comment section, it can be a lifesaver. People have gotten help through there, and it's what the program's all about.
Network.
Every one of them, networking and helping other people, and that's what this show is about: having fun and helping other people. We got some great guests. You guys want to introduce yourselves quick?
I'm Ken. I'm an alcoholic.
Hey,
Hey, Ken.
I'm Justin.
Hey, Justin.
I'm bona fide.
Bona fide. Pull your mic forward so you don't have to.
Yeah,
so
you
you're
get-
comfortable. Make yourself comfortable.
Yeah, make yourself comfortable. The mics are adjustable.
We're here now.
We're about ready to get into it. So without further ado, let's chop it up, baby. Oh, you know what I forgot?
What'd you forget? Rewind.
They need to smash that like
Oh
button.
yeah, share this with anyone you feel could take benefit out of hearing some recovery talk. Anyone, a friend, a brother, your mom, your dad, anyone who you think could benefit just from hearing about some recovery or figuring out about some new places to find recovery. You get this here on this show, so share the shit. Like, share with everyone.
Show your support.
Boom. Show it.
And, we have our first question too.
Already?
Yeah,
Before we
Matt,
even
Matt
get into
K
that?
asks if he can heckle the hosts, and to that I would say, why is he asking? He already does.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, whoa, hey. So check it out. Guests. Thank you first. I'm going to first say thank both of you because
Yeah, thank
Ken, you got put on the spot last night, and Justin, you got put on the spot at breakfast this morning. And you both stepped up. Like, I'm also not going to come down on our audience, but we did put the call out to our audience last week and said, hey, anyone who wants to be on the show, reach out to Tad or myself. We heard nada.
And live on air, I put it all on Tim's
Yeah,
shoulder.
I
He
get
forgot
and
that.
yeah.
But it's all right.
And it is. So, you know what? Like, we put accurate, Ted. You know what, Matt? We love you. What do you want to talk about there, Jay?
Oh, put me on the spot.
I know. I was thinking Ken, Justin.
Justin, you do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and you've overcame a lot of shit, too.
You like Don't you get
I do a
guys
lot
in the
of stuff.
program? You're super involved.
Yeah, a little less now than I have been in the past, but you know what I thought I'd want to talk about is kind of the cornerstone of my recovery, and the hardest thing that I've had to do is honesty. You know, just for me, starting off, you know, just not even knowing who I was because I lied so much. You know, I lied to every situation that I was in, and I was just whoever that I was with, that's the person I became to fit that situation. So I did it for so long, I didn't really understand who I was. So getting sober and getting honest, and it's like I never knew what I liked. You know, I kind of put it like, what's that Runaway Bride? She didn't even know the eggs she liked because she just
Right.
you know would order whatever somebody she was with ordered.
And then
that,
the time comes and you don't even know who you are.
and that was the hardest part of me getting sober and dealing with this honesty is, you know, just coming to terms with that and sorting out the mess. And I mean, really, I, like everybody, I was selfish and an asshole. And, you know, I used to argue just to argue.
Just to do it.
You know, I didn't care what. You were Republican, I was a liberal. You know, you were a liberal, I was a Republican. You know, I just argued against whatever you said because that was fun to me.
Just to get
Just-
entertainment.
Just entertainment, you know, and you do that for so long, and then you tell stories. You know, you embellish a little bit of the story, and you find the thing that works for you with people. And you know it's not true, but I've been telling those lies for so long. And this is my story, and you know those embellishments. And when you make that decision to be honest, it was like, man, I felt so boring because you know I'd go to interject my little story to liven up a conversation. I'd be like, that's bullshit. I can't tell that anymore. And you just and you think about it like, what am I going to say? But that would be funny, you know. That I got the story that fits right into this conversation to make it lively, make everybody in here
But it
laugh.
would be bullshit.
But it's bullshit, and I, you know, it was really tough for me to come with who I was when I had no idea who I was, and that to me was the hardest part of recovery.
Would you put like, all right, so you're saying that this honesty and getting honest in recovery, like figuring out who you were and getting honest, would you put that up there with almost as tricky as like setting the bottle down? You see what I'm saying? Like them are two different
Oh, that
big
was-
hurdles.
Like
getting
it was
sober
way
and-
easier putting the dope in the bottle down
Than the personal than the change.
than the honesty. Oh my god!
I think that's something we do need to dive into. Like that's a huge statement, bro. Like
I you know, I find it. I was messed up way before I did alcohol and drugs. You know, I mean, me as a kid, I couldn't tell the truth to save my. You know, I was a terror long before I ever took a drink, or I mean, I didn't even start drugs until I was 27. You know, of course, it only took me 6 months to go from my first line of cocaine to shooting it. But I mean, I was, my brain and how I interacted with other people was flawed from as long
Before
as
you
I could
picked up,
remember.
like-
Yeah, as long as I could. I mean, I didn't function well in kindergarten.
Like, and you remember this. Like, or I guess better thing to say is from early on interactions, childhood in elementary, and I think you just answered it, but these were things like, did you, at the time, was it a situation you just didn't feel you fit in, so I better make something up so I feel like I fit in, or what was it? Do you know?
You know, I just tried so hard. You know, seeing my kids grow up, and I can see when they're trying to be liked or they're pushing too hard, and I'm going, I remember that. You know, I remember wanting to be somebody's friend so bad that I would. Oh, they hurt you? I'll go beat them up.
Right.
You know, I'll beat them up for you just, you know, to get you to like me. You know,
Right.
you like that watch? Oh, I'll steal that watch and give it to you later.
So just to fit in.
Just to be liked, and nothing seemed to work. Now, from day one, I could not. I felt like I couldn't make a friend, but I was so awkward and doing so much dumb stuff to get people to like me that people looked at me like, "What's wrong with you?"
Right. And you remember that too.
Oh, I remember that. I couldn't get it.
So like, does that play into why you think you started using? Like a lot of that plays into it? Or and if so, how?
You know, my use was. I knew I was going to be an addict before I even was. I mean, that was. It's kind of strange. It's like that's two separate things for me. You know, the personal issues is separate from the addiction. You know, I felt like I just could do more. It was more of a fact that I think maybe you give up and you just how people reacted to me and how my life went. You know, I just chose to go be the crazy one or be the, you know.
In a way, was that easier?
It was easier. Yeah.
was just
It was easier to play the addict screw up than it was to admit that I couldn't
Figure it out.
couldn't be a normal person and talk to you and make friends.
But like, what is normal? I mean, in your head, you had a picture of what that looked like, or
It just
did
didn't
you
work
not?
for me.
Right.
I mean, I could pretend all I wanted. I could, you know, I could hang with anybody for a short period of time. You know, I could have a conversation. I wasn't stupid, but I never knew what I was or how I felt because I was always trying to figure out what you wanted to hear from me. So my whole being was wrapped up into what I thought you wanted to hear from me. And that was different for every person in every situation.
You were like a chameleon.
And that's why it doesn't work. That's why it didn't work. That's why I can look back now and say, well, no wonder you fucking dumbass. You know, and I can see that. And that's really the hard thing of looking back.
So like, they talk about the psychological change. Like, we get into recovery, and you know, I don't like to do the fake it till you make it, but you did say like to make that psychological change of being who you are, whether you know who you are or not. You were lying for so long. You're being this chameleon to try and fit in or be accepted. That then you set the bottle down. Like, we're now into recovery. Like, how do you go about that? How have you gone about it? Like, is there programs you went to? How did you end up getting to this point? Because I mean, I know you. Like, follow from like the men's meeting back when it was on the other side of the original Will Work for Recovery. Like, that's where I first got to know you. And like, I always remember you used to share about like, I think it was like a welding job. Like, you always had options on bomb jobs, but you would trick them off or something. Like, you shared about that, but you also like, I don't know if there are 12-step programs that can help you with that psychological change, or how did that go for you? Like, how has that been where now you're making this change to being who Justin is?
Oh man, I was just done. I mean, when I hit the end, I mean, I tried
use?
of everything. I mean, my use, and I was just done. I mean, I tried to hang myself in a hotel room. I was just done with everything, and it was the use. It was just losing everything for the fifth time. You know, and I was just, I just didn't. feel like I had the energy to muster up another, build everything back from nothing, and the way I try to do it, I don't even know. I thought I was just gonna fall asleep, and I had the belt and around the thing, and it wasn't that tight. I thought I would just fall asleep, and then we'd get tighter, and I would stop, and I would never wake up. I don't know. And then the cops come in and wake me up, and the cops, I woke up by the cop. And I'm like so pissed. I'm so mad. And they're talking to me and they want my name and all that. And I'm just like, I'm looking at them, shaking my head. I'm like, not saying nothing. I'm like, fuck you.
Like, I know.
You're not getting anything from me. And they're yelling at me. You're not even going to talk to me. I'm like, you fucking woke me up. I'm supposed to be dead, you sons of bitches.
Like, we're all laughing. We're kind of chuckling, but like, that's serious. Like, you're talking about a suicide attempt at a hotel room by yourself. Like, apparently, like, that's like a bottom for sure.
Yeah.
Like, you were done. You had no other way out, so you thought this would be the easiest. And yeah, we can look back at it now and kind of laugh, but like, that's some deep shit. So, what happens after that? From that point, like, these cops are in your face, and you're pissed because you're like, I'm supposed to be dead. Fuck you.
Yeah. So, I talked my way out. Then they bring
Because it's against the law to try to kill yourself.
Yeah, they bring you.
That's crazy.
They bring you to the emergency room, and they have a special padded thing at Unity Hospital, and they put you in there, and I'm like, I'm gonna go, and they're like, no, you're not, and I'm like, yeah, yes, I am, and then 8 cops come in and like, no, you're not. And I'm like, you got to talk to the psychologist first, So it took me about
72 hours.
No, I actually got out in about 8 hours, six or 8 hours. They finally came and talked to me, and I don't know how I talked myself out of it, but they finally let me go. But I was just done. I just knew that I couldn't live the way I was living, and that was it. It was out of my hands,
Right.
And it took will work.
Right, go ahead.
I had a friend who Ashley Kay.
You're good. Is that what?
She's like, she was sober before I was, and she was like, well, we'll come to the meeting, and I was like, okay, and I couldn't, I didn't really want to,
Right.
So I'm like, okay, I'm not
What was
gonna.
this, 4 years ago?
Two and some change.
Okay.
And so I'm like,
Ashley's
nah.
been on the show.
I can't drive, so I'm not gonna come. And they're like, she's like, I'll have somebody come and pick you up. So she calls Paul and Carolyn.
Mm-hmm.
Paul and Carolyn picked me up.
Past guest as well.
So I get in the truck, and there's Paul.
Do you know him before this? Like, did you know him?
So, truth be told, 20 years ago, me and Paul smoked crack together. So I kind of knew
That's
him.
crazy.
I kind of knew him in the neighborhood, and we had the same crowds. We ran together and smoked a little crack.
Just a little, yeah.
Just a little.
Just
But
a
so it was just kind of like, wow, and
Like, that's the first face
that was
you
the
see.
first face I see. So, it was kind of my neighborhood, my kind of people, Cause
You knew you were home then?
Not yet. This is just in the car, because I've been to meetings and all that. Anybody who's been to jail and prison and has had what I've had has been made to go to meetings. So, I've been to plenty of meetings.
Right.
Until we pulled into Willwork, and it was totally different.
Right.
And it was finally all right to be who I was.
Right.
And I knew that, and it didn't take long for me to realize that, to see the people living a life that I could live and have fun and still go ride motorcycles and have, because I had no idea what life was going to be like on this side, boredom is, might as well hang
Right.
myself
Right,
again. You
right.
know, I mean, boredom is not going to work for me. I'd rather go do dope and wreck my life than live bored.
Did you? All right. So Ashley got this set up, helped you out. You end up seeing Paul, and then you are introduced to Will Work for Recovery. Like I didn't. This is gonna be good. Like, did you? Was it like a daily thing from that point moving forward? What did it look like for you? How was it? Because you kind of went over quickly about like you found your place. You all of a sudden like that's some
Well-
important shit for people to hear. Like, what was that about?
So, you know, with everything, my life was going down, and you know, I needed to go to treatment. You know, but I didn't want to. So I was like, you know, I didn't want to backpedal. You know, that felt
Right.
like backpedaling to me. And that first meeting, they're like, you really need to go to treatment. And then somebody in there set me up, and I made the choice to go to treatment that first day or maybe the second day of Will Work. You know, so I still had.
Was it inpatient?
I went to inpatient. I was in a union, so I still had union health benefits. So I got to go to the swanky Beauterre.
Militaire. Hey, though, whatever you wanted it. Though. You wanted it. That's the key thing, right? Or did you?
You know, I was just gonna do. They told me I needed to go to inpatient and not any. I mean, so I just listened. At that point in time, I was just listening to everybody but me. And they said go to treatment. I said okay. I lasted 10 days. They kicked me out because I didn't have enough money to be there. And
How fucked up is that?
well, they said I could stay for like $1,900 a day. You can stay.
yeah.
I'm like okay.
If
that's-
you, and at that point, like me, I've heard that too a couple places, and I just, you know, whatever. It's like if I had $1,900,
No, they're
I
great,
wouldn't
though.
be here.
Yeah,
I'd be
they're
high.
great. I
And
mean,
that's
they
where I was
couldn't.
at.
They couldn't do it. It wasn't their fault.
No,
you know.
yeah.
It just happened that way, and really, I'd had enough of that, anyways. You know, because I mean, I've been to treatment.
How many days was that about there?
10.
10 days. So then what? What did you do? Like,
So I had my car in the parking lot. So they wanted me to do something else.
like a door to door to another
I
place.
drove and I went and I was homeless, so I had no home. So I called and somebody knew of New Heights. I don't,
Okay.
The owner of New Heights, they knew him personally, so they called him up and said, "Can he go there?" And I went and met with him, and he let me in right away with no money and no nothing. And you know, I went to New Way and
Yeah.
from there and started the outpatient, and really that was it. I went there and I really needed, you know, I was there 6 months or
That
five
IOS or
Yeah.
OSI or whatever, intensive outpatient, whatever they call that.
but between New Heights, New Way, and Will Work, I mean, I was going to Will Work every day. They were open.
You were like a mainstay when I started going
Yeah,
there.
I mean, I needed it. I needed
Right.
it every day. Every day I needed it.
So, like, and Ken, we're going to get you. Don't.
So hold on, I got a question.
About time. Pipe up.
How many treatments have you gone to over your period of
Life.
life?
You know, I've never. Most of mine were in prison, so I don't really count those. You know, a couple times in prison. I had a couple of outpatients that I did, you know, because of court, but none that I really. I never went. I never went to seek them out because I wanted to get clean. I mean, I literally went to Park Avenue because of court, and I would go to lunch at the bar and have a beer and then go back to group.
Right.
I mean, I never planned to stop drinking. I quit using, you know, because of court, you know, I quit using crack. And for
Well, you
like
needed to pass UAs.
for like 6 years, you know, because I knew crack didn't work. I mean, me and crack did not work. And I needed to stop doing that. My son was born. So, I mean, I stopped that, but I continued to drink, you know.
Right.
And I was fine for 6 years until family life fell apart. and then it took me about 6 hours to find one of my old friends and go to the hood. And,
Oh, dude, we're resourceful when we need to be.
and 2 years later, I was back in court and back in treatment because I didn't want to go to prison. And
So what I'm getting is that this time around, you kind of surrendered. And
yeah, I was done. I couldn't live like that no more. You know, there was just no option other than to listen to somebody other than me. There was
Well,
no,
yeah, I think I heard you say that too. You're
Yeah.
like, I was ready to listen to someone else.
Yeah,
Like
I just listened to what I didn't even pick my sponsor. You know, when I went in, I went to Paul. I'm like, Paul, I need a sponsor. He's like, well, pick one. I'm like, no, you need to pick one because if I pick one, I'll manipulate it somehow. So
That's funny.
so did you go through the steps with that sponsor?
I did. Yeah, I did. And that was I mean, doing the steps really worked for me, you know.
The steps of Alcoholics Anonymous.
Yeah.
I just think about early when I was in recovery, when I came back around due to my relapse, when I came back, you were just always there.
Yeah.
And like we weren't like tight or anything, but you were like, I'm glad you're back.
Yeah.
Hey man, if you need anything, you gave me your number. And, you know, like that's what I remember. I almost asked you to sponsor me.
Yeah.
And then I heard you were a hard ass. so-
Truth be told, I have no sponsees. No,
Ever?
no.
Have you ever?
I have no, nobody seems to last that long because I don't know. They just
I only have one right now, so it's you'll
you
go
know-
through times. You'll go through times where you have too many, and well, there's never too many.
you
but
know
you'll
I'm
go
not
through
even a
times.
hard.
I heard you
just
were a
tell
hard
'em-
ass. That's why
I just tell them to text me every day what they're doing today to better their life.
Oh, see, that would have been
That's
too
not-
hard.
that's
So that's like the, I said I don't care if it's you know I made my bed today.
I don't
and
remember.
I didn't yesterday.
I don't remember who, and it might have been our friend Ashley. I think it might. Someone told me you're like a drill sergeant. This is fine. And I'm like, I probably need that, but I'm gonna try these guys first.
Yeah, no. They don't stick around very long.
Yeah, but you know what? Did
But
you
I do a lot of
stay
mentoring.
clean and sober through it all?
Yeah. You know, what I did do that I think is the goals group. I started a goals
Yeah, that
group.
Monday,
Oh, yeah.
Monday, right?
Well,
Or it was.
it is. We do the goals group Mondays.
Explain what that is.
So it originally, what it is I got like 12 people. It started off with like 5 guys to be in a goals group, and it's a group text. So every morning we kind of set our
yeah.
day, and that's we say what we're gonna do for the day or what we're gonna work on for the day. You know what our goal for the day is, and it went from 5 guys. Now it's like 13. I mean, it gets annoying because you know if your phone's on in the morning, people
Everyone's responding. And
people get up at 4 in the morning and put their goal in, so your phone starts going off. But it was really good to get up every day and put that in, and then read what guys are working on. And those guys, I mean, we really got tight. I mean, we did stuff together. We talked to each other every day. You know, so that was kind of our little sponsor group.
is that still going on?
Oh yeah, it goes on.
Is it? Do you guys take new members? Or
We do. We have taken new members. You know, really, we've invited people. You know, it's not really. You know, if people wanted to come in, we've joined. Let them join.
did this come about from Wednesday night guys that you?
No, so this was kind of my goals group. You know, when I was in the sober house, I wanted to get people that I wanted to. I listened to these motivational things. That was my thing. Every day I would watch some different motivational thing, and then I seen this thing about. It was like a goals group. They call it something else, but it was for business guys. It was a networking group, so they would invite. They would have this goals group where they'd invite people to come and speak and set goals and show how to be a better businessman, a better salesman, you know. And I was like, well, I would want to listened to people that are smarter than me and done it more than me.
Right.
So I was like, let's do a goals group, So I asked a few people that were, can 8 years of sobriety.
Yeah.
A few other people that are what I wanted to kind of emulate,
Right.
And listen to them. And it started with that. And then the will work thing, we wanted to kind of do it to kind of help people set goals. That
was this the deal where, is it something where you guys are holding each other accountable too? Are you checking in with these guys and saying, hey, how did that go with that? Or is it just strictly put your goal in so it's down written and put out there?
No, they're a bunch of assholes.
busting balls?
There's
Okay.
a bunch of assholes
Right.
in there, and they'll call you out,
But it's holding people accountable, right?
Yeah. It's just, really, it's the fact of saying it.
We need that though.
We're
We're not always receptive, but we need that. I was surprised. So I went to a group with you. I'll just share because we were all there the Wednesday,
Yeah.
and I went there because I was told to check it out, and I was going through my breakup, and I had been in a relationship for my whole recovery, so I went and just put that all out there, and I needed to hear all those different perspectives. Now I heard some shit I didn't want to hear. I heard some people telling me I was great, that whatever, and I heard and I heard some different perspectives on it, and I don't remember what you said, but you basically gave me some warning signs just to look out. You weren't down on me or anything, and I needed that.
Yeah.
Because my past was I put that out there that I relapsed. So we need those people to give us different perspectives.
Yeah.
Because if I keep feeding my own Kool-Aid, I'm fucked.
Well, I think that's mostly who's in the group, is people that will tell you, you're fucking up.
Tell you a little something about
Yeah,
yourself.
they ain't gonna hold back,
Hey, that's a lot of people need that.
Well, I welcome it because I get a lot of people kissing my ass in this building.
Oh,
well,
boy.
I think
You're one of 'em.
Treatment's changed through the years. They kind of kicked out all the old heroin addict counselors and got all these these counselors that are never been in addiction.
New age.
They're just got out of college for psych
Yeah.
major and they really don't understand addiction. They might
you can
understand the mental illness part, but they don't understand addiction and they want to not hurt your feelings and believe me, you gotta
It's a few credits different from being a social worker to being a chemical addiction
you really
counselor.
need to hurt an addict's feelings once in a while to really
There's a difference between fucking destroying someone and being brutally honest with them because sometimes we need to hear that shit.
yeah.
I had to hear that my family hated that my kids hated my guts from my kids. I had to hear that for it to sink in.
Who told you that?
My kids.
Well, yeah.
If
that
I
happens.
didn't, my mom has been preaching to me since I was 7, so her telling me anything was just,
Right.
I know how to tune that out. But when my now 17-year-old was like, I'm not talking to you until you're 3 years sober, and I'm done with your shit. My 10-year-old at the time, Dad, starts getting into trouble and blame me.
Yeah.
And starts doing drugs at 10 and blames me because he wants to be cool. Or maybe I'll pay attention to him. And
I learned it from
I had to
watching
hear
you,
that
Dad.
shit, dude.
Right. Yeah, and it's got to be, you want to talk about a tough pill to swallow. You got your 10-year-old telling you, tell you some shit.
I'm
like
not
that.
mad. I'm not mad at you anymore, Dad. I smoked weed and it's cool. I was like, dude.
Yeah, you can feel the flames of hell on your back.
Oh man. And to go through legal trouble that I went through at a much older age, like 16. Well, not much older, but in him being in the hospital for mental health stuff at 10, I was like,
Right.
this is a 10-year-old. He's not. We're supposed to be 4 or 5 years away.
Yeah.
And
Right.
feeling like that shit hit home.
So how do you deal with that?
I had at the time I was still in treatment out down the road in New Way. But I had surrounded myself with people with 10, 20 years of sobriety. I worked for a guy. I was up here, and I asked them because I didn't know what the fuck to do, and those would all be great excuses for me to go out and use and avoid the problem and do what I've always done in the past. I would have left treatment, but and so I just asked them, and they gave me their advice, their opinions. They're like, dude, call the suicide helpline.
So
And so I did, and we started going like he did counseling, and his mom has been wonderful through it. And it's, having realistic conversations too, letting them know that I've tried to kill myself, that I was suicidal, letting both my kids know, because like the 17-year-old thinks smoking pot and his behaviors are fine, but he's mad at me. So my mom dealt with that. She's like, "That's what you sound just like your dad." I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna be here for you. I have no right to lecture you because I haven't been around for 5-6 years, and but with the 10, well, he's now 12. I've had to just, be honest with him. And I told him, like, it opened a new door because he's like, "You feel that way too?" I'm like, still I do. I just don't act on them, and I have to talk to people.
See, that's like one of the other things that's been a hard thing to do in my recovery is, you got to take time for yourself. I had to take time away from my kids, because even in my youth, I had them every weekend. I still did lots of things. I was a present dad. I was high, but I was present.
You were there, but
I was
you
there,
weren't
but I could have been a better dad.
Yeah.
But when it came to getting sober, one of the hardest things is to put the kids back on the back burner.
Right.
And work on yourself without saying, "Oh, I got to be the dad that takes care." I'm sober now. I got to be a dad and do everything. I had to step back and not get them and do recovery and go to meetings every day. And I missed baseball games.
You had to get yourself together
for the first
first.
time. I'm
Right.
like, I had to go to meeting instead of go to
Right.
your game. And the hard part was turning that off because I was going to Will Work every night and things were working, and I got to go to New Way and go play volleyball and go play, bowling and all that stuff. But then my kids were there waiting, but I need, so it's hard to switch off when people were finally liking to be around me.
Well, and I think there's got to be a time though. You end up, you said it. You have to have just in time. You had to get yourself right to a point where you get to be present and not high and be there for your kids. Like, I'm the only one here who doesn't have a child, and like Ken, I'm gonna make you talk now.
Yeah.
This is where the point where you're gonna share some things.
So here's, the hockey game we went to a couple nights ago.
That was last night.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They all run together. But 8 years ago, my 18-year-old, he's 18 now, he didn't want to spend a lick of time with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I purchased wild tickets. We went to 41 games that year.
Oh my gosh. You guys got some bonding out of that hockey event.
Oh, yeah. He
And
still
some-
doesn't like his dad. But
Yeah, but what does that stem? I mean, all right. So
But
I
that
know
was-
you just said you like got to see.
But that
you
was-
got some stories with your children.
oh, I've
that-
got tons of stories because some of my kids are active addiction.
right.
And for me, being sober and going through the steps and working my recovery and not being able to save them because I can't. I have to let them do what they need to do. I can support them.
It's so hard.
Oh, dude, tell me about it.
So, like, for me, and I don't know if anyone else feels this way, so I feel like I'm watching them do my mistakes, and it's hard for me to separate my feelings of me fucking up again and me not being a good enough dad in the past. So it's all compounded, and it's so hard. So it feels like I'm doing it again, and all the shitty shit I did while I was in my addiction. Like, it's, and I want to do stuff, but I have to let them make their own decisions.
Yeah,
Yeah, but you still got to be there. I mean,
Yeah.
that's like I said, that's the hard part for me was to switch off of all the adulation I was getting from the rooms and people liking me, people talking to
Right.
me, people looking at me like I'm doing so good.
Yeah.
But then I'm not showing up to my kid's game. And it was hard for me to cut back on the stuff that was making me feel good.
Right.
And then having to spend time with the kids that I've neglected. You go
Trying
to
to find
go
the
into my
balance.
family who I shit on for so many years and lied to for so many years, and now I got to show up and that really sucks. It sucks to do that when you can go to Willwork, or you can go to 2218, or you can go to the White House,
Right.
and
other-
people recognize you and say hi, and you know, to leave that I've been searching for that my whole life, you know, that it never clicked until now.
Right.
Now I got to leave that and go back and deal with the shit that I
Your
did.
responsibilities. Like
Right.
there's
Your
that point you've
yeah.
got to baby bird's
There's-
got to leave the fucking nest.
Yeah. And that's where I cut.
Getting back into the real world has been a hard transition for me lately. Not hard, but just different. And my boss had to say something to me because I walked home last weekend, and I don't let my guys that work there walk home, and we make sure girls don't at 4 a.m. from downtown. And anyways, my boss had to be like, dude, we need you to follow the same rules. And not everyone knows who you are. They don't know that you help they don't know all the stuff you do. We do, and we love you. But you know what? The world doesn't know. They're not in your recovery community or not your friends, so they don't know. Because I don't know, I walk around the city like no one's going to do anything to me now because of what I do in the city.
Well,
But like I think what Justin's, I'm pretty sure what you're saying here is like, it turned into you got recovery, you found will work. That's easy now. Like that's a funny, not so much fun, but you're there
your
and
life.
you recognize it's the shit you were searching for that whole time. That thing
Right.
you're awkward, you're lying, you're putting on a show. Now you don't have to. You get to be Justin. You found this place, but shit, I got these kids. I have responsibilities. I have a life. And then there's that point in time, like, okay, you're what? You got 3 years, or you're coming up?
2.5.
Okay, so now like at 2 years, when was that point where you're like, was it instant or you gave yourself a year? How long did you give yourself before you're like, all right, I have to get back to responsibilities and back into life?
I don't know what the switch was. It was really, you know, the hard pill that nobody gives a fuck that you're sober.
Yes.
Right.
Nobody gives a fuck.
Because it's that whole thing of, but I'm being a good dad, or I'm paying child support. Like you're supposed to. You want a
Yeah.
cookie for being a
You're
dad?
doing what you're supposed to do.
That's kind of what you're saying, right?
Yeah. I mean, paying child. Well,
But not that.
it really
but-
sucks when you pay child support and you do extra, and then things start coming together, and then they expect you to make up for
all those rears.
all those years, because that's how you've always done it to make up for your missing, or you always paid a little extra, did a little extra because you were screwing up.
Yeah.
And so now, you want to do that, but you just got to do, all I say is it was really hard to go deal with the mess and just to show up and know that everybody's hurting, knowing that they're hurting because of you, and they're reacting the way they're acting, the ex is acting the way she's always because you did what you did, and that's how the system was.
And not
was
everybody
played.
believes that we're
And
done.
just because my game changed, I changed the game.
Yep.
They're still playing on the rules that I set.
Yeah.
And it's a hard one to take, and it's a hard ship to turn.
My family said to me, like, how do we know you're done? Well, because I'm scared and I died and I'm scared for my life.
don't
and
mean shit.
And they're like, you've said that before. And I was like, I didn't mean it before. How do we know that? And so, like, they didn't know I was done. There's still people that don't,
It's called living amends.
Yeah. Well, and I believe the Alcoholics program, it talks of what you're saying, Justin. It's like, because you change, like you were around these people for X amount of years being that person. Now that you've changed, they don't owe you shit. They don't owe you to change with you or accept this new person you've become. They still know you as what you gave them for how many years. Now you're this new person. You're not owed shit.
Right.
That's like, I didn't even go to jail. You're not supposed to go to jail.
right.
That whole thing. Like, and I think like your goals group and what you're talking about, because I've been around a lot of them groups of guys, and I go have breakfast with them types of guys that, you know what, like I said, when was that switch, or when was that point? Like, Okay. And we talked about it a little this morning. Like, all right, so when do you go back to, all right, time to live life and do responsibilities? Like our friend Dustin, he's quick to call me on some shit. Like, oh, you can go get some money from mom. Like, he'll call me on some shit. Yeah, he's my friend and cares about me. But there's a point of some reality there when someone's that cares about you is going to call you on this childish shit you're still living.
I think when you realize, I think when things are going good and the meetings are going good and everything's going good and you're having fun, you got to stop and say, who do I owe? Mm-hmm. What do I owe? You know, where, and that comes to your kids, you know, okay, I'm having fun, but I owe them.
Right.
I owe my kids the time. I owe them the space. I owe them my ear. I owe them to be there. And so you got to find a time to start doing that. And that's it's uncomfortable to have to sit with your kid.
It gets easier.
Yeah, it gets easier, you know. But when you're comfortable in everything in your life, then you know that you need to take the next step, because if it's comfortable, you have to
ready.
be uncomfortable, otherwise you're not moving forward.
Right.
So every time you think you got it licked and you look around and you're like, hey, this isn't so bad, then you know you got something to do, and you better find that something to do, because the good times will get boring,
And we know what we resort to.
I blow shit up.
Yeah.
It's
So,
time.
do you believe that? And I'm trying to allude to it in the right way. Is we surround ourselves, I've tried to surround myself with these people that won't co-sign my bullshit. Okay, and like listeners or you guys, like that gratitude, or not gratitude group, but the goals group, but that group
Let's
of
just
guys.
say the goals group at Monday at 5:00 at Woodwork.
There you go. But what I'm saying is, like, I believe there's people in there, and it's not to shoot you down or put you down, but we'll be quick to be like, and I'm gonna keep calling Dustin out on it because he's good at that. When he's good at seeing what's going on your side of the street sometimes, but it's accurate. When you're saying what you're saying, like things are going good, and you know, like you said, you got this lick, things are going smoothly, but then he's gonna put that curveball on you about, well, what's going on with your kids?
Yeah.
Well, you paying all your bills on your own by yourself?
How's your credit doing?
How's your credit doing?
Are
Do
you
you
s-
have your Dustin will bust my balls. Like, how's your retirement plan? Are you storing money for retirement?
Are you still driving around illegally?
Yeah.
You got your license yet?
Yeah.
How can you be 3 years sober and you're driving around with no license? You
Or
know?
not driving around? Or you got new tennis shoes, but what's the status on your license? Or he's called me, like, not just him, and I'm sorry, Dustin, I'm not calling you out specifically. What I'm
No,
saying
you're
is, like,
just the biggest asshole, Dustin.
Yes.
We all know that.
but what I'm saying is, it's guys like that I needed. Like, okay, Justin, some type of drill sergeant sponsor, whatever. I had Bob B at Fairview Riverside. If I didn't have him to cut me down, and it wasn't cutting me down, it was telling me the truth that no one had ever told me prior to that. I'm the type of guy who needs someone to be like, Tim, you're full of shit. Pay your bills. Where's your credit at? What do you have going on for retirement? You're talking about all this work and good money. What's your retirement plan look like? Are you in a union? Do you have insurance? Are you still suckling off the state's tit? You know what I'm saying? Shit like that I don't want to hear. But I need those guys in my life to tell me that. And over time, like you say, with kids, it gets easier. Like, over time, it's gotten easier for me personally. Like, we checked in. I shouldn't be talking this much, but Krebs says Dustin loves to call other. Oh, all right. You know what? I'm just I thought it was a question. So
You can only call out the host, not
Yeah,
listeners. Come on, Krebs.
the thing is like what I've gathered, and then we're gonna get to what you wanted to talk about tonight. Is Justin brought up some good shit, and it started off with honesty, like, and that evolved into like kind of accountability and growing. Like, you were at a deep hole. You were at that point of, all right, I give up and I'm ready to listen to someone else. Usually the not success stories, but that's usually what you hear about someone when they, not even say this time's different, but you're willing to listen to someone else. Someone else who's not so much has got it figured out, but someone else who's working a program of recovery. And you're taking suggestions. Does that sound right?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Bring it up.
Okay. So I've been around a little bit, and
Resting on his laurels.
yeah, kind of a little bit. But the only way I see people survive in this program and survive in recovery is when they do the work. Hello? Yeah, when they do the work.
Yeah, get close to your mic.
Get close to the mic. When they do the steps, when they do the work. Whoa, feedback.
No, it wasn't. It was the springs. But yeah, so work doer.
Work doer, goals group, do the
Yeah.
steps, have sponsees, or talk to people,
Yeah.
or help people.
Or pull someone to a meeting every day during lunch for when they haven't been to meetings for a long time.
True. Yep. Dumb things like that. You know, just work with
love
each
you.
other. Be willing to help anyone, anywhere, anytime, any place. If somebody calls you at 3 o'clock in the morning, you pick up the phone and you go try to help them if they ask. That's where I've gotten, you know, a lot of this recovery thing is that you do the work, you go through the steps, life gets easy, life gets hard, people die, things happen, God throws you curveballs. You just use the program to get through it. That's what I do. I try to do that every day. I try to practice these principles in all my affairs.
Okay. How about relationships?
Relationships suck. I don't know. My last relationship, it cost me a lot personally, a lot.
Mentally, spiritually.
That's pretty much when I met you. When I got out of my last relationship,
I think, yeah.
I was a hot mess.
You were real quiet. You were
Well, yeah.
introverted. You
Well,
weren't
Yeah, I just got shit on.
right.
And you know, especially in recovery, because people get in relationships in recovery, and they think, oh, I'm in a relationship now, so now I don't have to go to meetings, and I don't have to practice these principles on my prayers. I don't have to do the steps. I don't have to talk to people. I don't use the phone. And guess what?
Get married.
Oh, get married, have another kid.
Kids.
Yep. And then, you know, they're just sitting there, and all their laurels and everything is resting on that relationship.
Been there.
And then what happens to the relationship? Oh my God, the relationship explodes like Tad just said. He said a couple minutes ago, his relationship exploded, and he took a dive.
That was my pattern for years after my relationship was over. Then ended my sobriety.
So, what does a normal person do in the program when their relationship ends? They sit and wallow, and they curl up in the fetal position, and they feel sorry for themselves. So a normal person would probably get up and go back to meetings,
Right.
not addicts. I don't think they would. You know, I didn't. I wallowed in that shit for so long. But it was either I made the choice. I had to make a decision, and I believe in relapse is a choice. It is your choice either to go back to meetings, go back to the program, go back to your friends, go back to people that care about you, that can get you through that situation.
I got a question for you. So like, I was 50 when I finally, you know, close to 50 when this kind of came together for me. You know, what do you think about the younger people who haven't hit rock bottom that are just starting out on this, you know, and you can see that it's not going right, but haven't had that rock bottom? It's you know, can they pick this up from being in the rooms, or do they just?
What I've seen over the years, you have to do the book work. You have to go through the step work. If you do not do that, you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
And if you think you're different and you think you're unique, you won't make it either.
Been there.
Yeah. It was crazy because I try to help as many people as possible. And a couple of years ago, I hired a guy. And the crazy thing, I paid him on Friday, and Monday he was dead. Oh.
We're not going to get into work situations.
But he was in the program,
Yeah, yeah,
and he was struggling with addiction, and it happens.
Yeah.
yeah. I just say that because I look at, we'll say will work. There's so many young kids that are coming and there and being a part of it, but it's hard for me to see to help them. I have talked to the younger kids and be a mentor and it's hard for me because my thing is you got to do it till it hurts. Do it till you can't do it anymore.
And that's
And
that's
I-
different for everybody.
Right, because I look at it.
I've seen people who a paper cut, something that's equivalent to paper cut for guys like you and I, they're done. They're done. They're like, whoa, fuck that. And like where you and I lost like 20 fingers.
No, that's right. Your rock bottom is wherever you stop digging. That's a good one.
But how do you see that? Being a person like a sponsor or mentor, like we're trying to be, I have a hard time explaining that to somebody. When my mind just showed, I know what hell I had to go through.
Right.
And when I talking to somebody who's 25, 24, and I just, it's hard to empathize with that. Like, you got a long way to go. When I'm thinking in my head, you got a long way to go before you go sober.
But
And I feel like I can't
I
help
knew
them.
I knew I was an addict at 15.
Yeah.
I'm going to share on that too. After
Me
you
too.
go ahead.
Yeah, I was an alcoholic and addict. That's the first time I was put in treatment. I was 15 years old, and and I wish I could have sobered up back then because I'd have a shit ton of time. But
Right.
I wasn't ready yet. I needed to go experience and get some more pain.
Well, that's what I mean.
But you
I have a
can't-
hard time,
But you can't save everybody.
Right.
You have to just point them in the right direction. That's what I believe. And
Yeah.
it's hard. It's hard to watch people suffer. It's hard to watch my kids suffer that are in active addiction.
Yeah.
That I know that they're making the same mistakes like Tad said a little while ago. They're making the same mistakes I made. But you can't tell them that because people try to tell me that.
Right.
Oh, we all know that. We all firsthand know you're not going to tell someone. You're not going to tell them. It's not going to work at least. You can tell them.
It's just like the judge, when the judge says you need to stay sober and you're looking at him like, I am
See, but
not.
that's where when we get into the men's group, I'm like the asshole because I don't, I look at it and I'm like, you're not ready. Go
See, and I don't know if this is what
go
you're.
on that date.
I don't know if this is what. Yeah, you're right. Shit like that.
You know what I mean?
But
Just
I don't know
get
if
it
this.
over with.
When you were saying about like a 25-year-old, like, and I don't know if this is what you're getting at. But when I at about a year of recovery, I was doing the 7-day-a-week meetings because I was able to. That's it. Bottom line. No one told me. I did it because I was able to. Well, I would go to this one meeting and it was a speaker meeting. There'd be women who'd get up and share. I have 15 years. And it's like, all right. And they're telling their story. They're 29 years old. And I'm like, so you got clean at 14. What kind of experience are you really going to share with me? Like I had this issue that someone that age is really going to be able to tell me anything about recovery or about your experience of being an addict or a junkie. Like I wrote that off as bullshit for a long time. And I think it was someone like a mutual friend of ours was like, so what? What the reason was, they just shared 15 years of experience with you. Like, there's still something, like, I was hung up on this whole fact that someone that's 30 is going to tell me you're getting a 15-year chip today at the age of 30. Like, I was hung up on that. And there's absolutely no, like you said, at 15, you knew you were an addict. That easy.
Yep.
Well, and you very well could have had your bottom then and been done.
Nope.
I'm just saying it could have. What I'm saying is you knew it. There's no set in stone age or anything. But you're right. It's hard. At Will Work for Recovery when there's bigger meetings. Like I've been to the bigger ones, and there's some people that I know really well that they're 27, 28, and they're talking about going out, meeting these girls, or like, no, dude, it's not gonna work out. From what I saw, my first thing in recovery was recovery
Yeah.
and step work and service positions.
You know, years ago they used to say that you have to have a year's recovery before you can get in a relationship.
They
And
still do.
And I advise it because I've watched a few people that we've gotten in relationships in the last year and a half.
Hey,
And it,
I
and
have.
it- and it-
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I mean, I haven't had that much distance in between relationships, so I'm no one to say that. I don't know if that's. I mean, it's. I agree that's not
I mean,
advisable,
it's
but
probably easier if you listen to that. But like, so when this time, I 3 days clean, and I met another addict who had 1 day clean in treatment, and we hooked up. And granted, like we didn't hook up right then and there, but we were working towards it. But the things like I had talked about and you had kind of touched on, I just made sure that my recovery came first. Like, yeah, I always want to hang out with you. I'm codependent too, but I got this commitment. I go to meetings on these days, and that's it. And like I established that early, and often like to the point where she didn't even believe I was a codependent. And that
it works as long as it works for you.
yeah, I think when
would have
you're
been easier to not be in one though.
when you're on your square, you're on your square, and
Right.
Right.
and you can't add something into your life. You know, I always say it's like juggling. You know, you have one ball to juggle. You know, you're going to outpatient treatment. You know, it's easy to toss that ball in the air for half a day.
But I'm an addict. I toss
But I'm an
multiple.
addict. That's
I
right. So
toss
then
multiple balls.
Then
in
you
the
get
air.
you get a part-time job. So now you got 2 balls in the air. You know. Then you got you add. I'm the chair of this Wednesday night meeting. Now you got 3 balls in the air. Now you got a girl. You got 4 balls in the air. You got you add your kids, and then you add you know.
I'm getting
I
over
wouldn't- I wouldn't- I
it.
wouldn't
Pretty
argue
soon
all that.
you got way too many balls in the air.
I wouldn't
that you can
argue with
handle.
that. I've heard that from day one from certain types of people about putting a time limit on relationships, whatever the point is. Like, I've shared multiple times on the show, like, I've seen the majority of problems I've seen in recovery they usually revolve around a relationship.
It's always the girl.
It's typically
It's always the girl's fault.
or just a relationship. Period. Whether whose fault it is, but it seems like hiccups.
No, Justin's right.
But you know what? Like,
Relapse should be called girl lapse.
So
was
it's
she
like-
giving you dirty looks over there?
Yeah, she's giving him dirty looks.
No, she's smiling.
Justin brought his
So
woman.
she's
with-
shaking his head.
I don't think
I
there
think that's
should
an
be a time.
agreement.
I don't
there.
think any of that shit matters.
No,
It's
no.
just like
Each
when
your own,
when
each
I
your
stopped using, it's because I knew I was done. That's me personally. My stories. I knew it was time. I was done. I just didn't know how to. Blah blah blah. Relationship. I'm over 3 years and I'm not ready for a relationship.
Well,
That easy.
You're kind of crazy.
No, you don't sleep. I'm not going to be graphic, but I want to be in a relationship. Don't get me wrong.
I
but
know.
I'm not ready.
No.
And I'm scared shitless because of what I see happening in these rooms. But that's not me. But I don't want to take the chance. You could have told
believe
me.
you.
It's just that's my story though, and I don't. They tell me in the last paragraph of how it works in Narcotics Anonymous is thinking of alcohol is not a drug has led a great many of addicts to relapse. I've never had a problem with alcohol, but I'm not going to chance it. It's that easy. Relationships, no different. I'm not going to chance it at this point, but that's my story. If
Yeah,
someone,
I
hey,
think
at
it's
4
a
months,
good-
you might have shit figured out, and you find the girl of your dreams, and it works out.
I mean, I think for me, God, it's so hard because recovery for me. I haven't had the obsession to use since day one. I mean, when I was done, I was done.
Right.
And I've built through this, and I've had problems, and even all the problems. Never did I think I want to go drink. I mean, maybe in the first couple weeks, but I think after that, I mean, I've never.
You don't obsess.
You don't have a fleeting
I
thought.
don't have I have a lot of fleeting thoughts. I mean, I think about Bloody Marys all the time, but but never when something is bad going on in my
Exactly.
life or
As a
the stress.
solution.
That is never
So where'd you get
the
that
thought
solution
of
from?
the solution.
Right.
You know, so I don't think anything. I hope nothing would make me think of that as a solution.
No, but you got the solution.
You got the solution
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
not the
Then
solution.
the solution to drink, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But if somebody tells you they never think about using, they're
No, that's
they're full
crazy.
They're full of
I-
shit. I
Oh,
believe. 'Cause
yeah.
I think about it driving by liquor stores that I went to 20 years ago.
Oh, definitely. I mean,
And it's just a
I-
stupid thought.
yeah. I look at it as when things are tough, when things start getting stressful.
That's when things are easy to stay sober.
What used to be
I
your
see people
go-to, what
struggle.
used to be your go-to for picking up is nowhere near what your go-to is anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's just never a thought in my head that's, you know.
So here's a food for thought. So long-term recovery, what's my deadly kryptonite of Superman is when everything's going good.
Oh yeah.
That's what Justin was saying, kind of.
Oh yeah.
When everything's perfect, everything's just moving along like a well-oiled machine.
Oh
and
man, it's
and
get the bomb out.
Yeah.
We got to blow this up
Because I'm used to the
I got to
chaos.
be busy.
Yep.
I have to be busy in my life. If I'm not busy, I'm bored. And I will say that the thing that's different about this time is because usually I could never sit with myself because I hated myself so much that being alone and being all right was like I'm the worst person to be with myself. So I got to blow this up so that I can focus on everybody and everything other than myself. I got something to fix. I got some, you know,
you come to my house, I got lots of things to
right.
fix.
So that was my, you know, when things were good, I blew it up so
Yeah.
that I could not have to focus on myself because once it's going good, you're like, hey, geez, you're doing pretty good. And then you start thinking about it and going, oh, when's that cloud coming?
God has a funny sense of humor.
Is that a
some
jagged
days.
way of thinking though? Like,
Of
all
course.
right, shit's going good. Like, all right, here comes the storm. Like, it can't stay good. Like, I always see, like life's a roller coaster. You know, once you're up, it's got to come down. But why?
Well, it's just because, you know, using that when you go down, you crash. It's not you never go down like on a roller coaster and then have the little soft roll up to go back up the hill.
No,
I mean, you hit the ground. That's how when I crashed every time. You know, there was no gently going back up the next slope. So when things started to turn in my life, you know, when one thing happened, it was like, oh my God, batting the hatches, because when it starts going down, there's no bottom. It's a
Right.
crash.
Right.
So it was like, hold on, and then it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy that you're gonna crash.
Oh, hell yeah.
You think it's because you sat and told yourself that?
Oh, most definitely. That's the pattern. That's
Because-
the pattern you learn is you how you react to things, and that's talk about steps. 4th step, 5th step. When you start when you get shown what your patterns are, that's your patterns. You have the same
Right.
thing
Your
with
character
character
defects.
character defects. Yeah, you do it in the same way, the same kind of, you get into the same relationships, you get into the same patterns.
But by doing the step works, you should be trying to change that.
Well, you're learning.
yeah.
You're learning how to recognize those things
Well, you
prior
recognize-
to. And
Just
yeah,
because
you
you've
work
done
on
your
'em.
4th step don't mean you can't fall into the same trap.
Oh, you're not cured.
You're not cured. I mean, you recognize, just because you recognize.
Right.
We got a few friends that recognize their character defects, but still
But act on- yeah.
continue to do that thing because
Continue to use their own character defects because that's what they're good at.
yeah,
Well, yeah, it's a character defect in itself.
right. So I mean.
Yeah, you want to talk about
you-
food for thought?
when you're scoping out the room, and the best looking one's on the other side of the room looking at you, and she's got 30 days sober from a
Our friend Bob would say, walk the other way.
Yeah. Well, we've got a few people I know
but that's
that
the
are
thing.
all in.
Yeah, all in. But like that's like resting on your laurels, saying, "Well, you know what? This is the time that I'm gonna go probably reuse," and then they're telling themselves it's okay because they just announced it basically. Dirt bikes. So you know what? Like I worked with this guy. He used to say some crazy. It was crazy shit. Like he would say, like, "I know money's tight, but it's gonna come." Like, and he's getting up to leave now, but. Is someone on a dirt bike?
We ran him off, Tim. It's just me and you. And
That's good, man. This is a real show, bro. Like now we can talk about them young yucks now that they're gone. No, those type of things. I don't. My character defects, like, yeah, they were pointed out to me after I shared my fifth step. Pointed out to me and told to me. Another addict or another alcoholic was like, he basically laid them out for me, and I couldn't pick them all out myself, but I couldn't disagree with a single one he said. It hurts to hear that shit sometimes. And like I said, I've truly tried to surround myself with people that not, some might call it mean, but I need to hear that shit. I do. Two of them are on the listening tonight. They know who they are too, and they can be assholes. Complete dog shit assholes. But I need that because I've got, at home, I have people that love me, and, you know, they're not going to say those things. Plus, like, they're not in recovery. They don't know that shit. I can't relate with kids. Like, you can't bring that shit to them. They don't deserve that. You got to show up and be dad and be responsible.
yeah.
Like, I don't know. That's a whole different ballgame. And so this guy, he would just trust that work would come his way. Money's tight. Like, we're going to lunch, maybe $5 in his pocket. He's like, nope. I think, what was it? God's got this. Money will come.
God's got a plan for you, and it's a good one.
I don't know what it was. It was like this dude we'd be working and money's tight or slowing up. He's like, nope, God will put work in front of me.
He always does.
That's how he works.
It's called, I think what it is called blind faith. That something other than myself has got me in this world, and it's providing for me every step of the way. Because there's no reason I should be sober. You know?
There's no reason I should be alive.
Yeah, I should be dead too.
Yeah. I
But-
think.
But God's got a plan, and I have to rely on that plan, and that's what's different by this time in sobriety, is I rely on something other than myself to get me through that
Well,
day.
they have taught us. Well, it's taught
The
not
old timers,
taught, yeah.
well, the old timers, most of you guys know that I've gone through the program with. That's what they've taught me.
Yeah, you have. Well, all these steps, you have to have something greater than yourself. Like and in the majority, well, it says you have to find a power
and-
greater than yourself. Like here, I'm gonna read something that one of our
Just hold on.
Go
a
ahead.
sec. A lot of us go to, me and you, Tim. We go to a lot of different meetings,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of people in the Recovery Union of Minneapolis that don't practice these principles at all or fairs.
No,
No,
but that's
but that's them.
But that's okay.
yeah,
though.
and that's
Yeah.
that's
it is okay.
their bobber.
That's one of the hardest thing
Is-
I've learned
is saying that.
in recovery, too, is that to have empathy and know that just because they aren't living their life the way they're supposed to be doesn't make them a bad person.
Or doesn't mean that you have something to offer them.
Right. I mean, it's just knowing that they are still sick and they're just in a certain point of their recovery. And you know, I really look at people. It's had me look at people different when I look at them as sick. You know, they're just at a.
They have cancer, bro.
I wouldn't say that. I would just say that they're in a different part of their recovery, and people want to talk about where they're at, but knowing that they're just not there yet, and they're trying to achieve that, and giving them grace and giving them just a little empathy, knowing that where they came from, you know.
So I had a sponsee a couple weeks ago go, I can't go to this meeting anymore because I can't listen to these people talk anymore. And I told him that maybe he should go to that meeting, and maybe he'll bring something to that meeting these people need.
If there's a problem with a meeting and all you do is bitch about it and then leave, Or no, more or less, if there's a problem at a meeting and you are the one who has the problem and you recognize the problem and do nothing about it, you are part of that problem.
Exactly.
So either you stick around and get something from that and learn and grow, or you help make it to what you see the problem is. Try to help fix that, or there might be something there you need, or someone there that needs from you what you have.
Exactly.
But you'll get it. You'll get it when you get it, though.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
it's gonna come on its
listen,
time.
I was
Can't force it.
in treatment and in prison. My first prison bit, I was in treatment before I ever did any hard drug. I drank. I didn't do cocaine or anything, but I sat there in treatment and acted like I was a drug addict to fit in. But I still remember some of the things that counselor said.
Oh yeah,
I take that stuff.
those are seeds planted throughout the way.
I mean, he's the one I remember saying. His name was Bob, and his big thing was the guys in prison telling people how much I love my kid. And he would look at him and say, "You don't love your kid. You don't love your kid one bit." And people would get all upset and get thrown out of treatment because he would say, you didn't love your kid at all. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. You're a selfish son of a bitch. And that, I remember that now. Yeah, how are you gonna? It sounds like we're in a plane.
All right, yeah, I wasn't sure how that sounded. Go ahead.
We're getting ready to jump.
We're gonna get. And then,
We're getting ready to jump.
Like, dude,
I don't have a parachute on.
Yeah, it sounds like we're in a plane. We're getting ready to jump live here on Attitude for Gratitude. Before we throw you out the plane, what are you grateful for?
All right, so I want to read something that one of our listeners that's not even in recovery. Well, I can't say that. One of our listeners who always presents really great questions. She writes, I also think when things are going well, we let our guards down a little more. If we believe there is a God or a higher power, when things are going good, we maybe don't feel the need to draw as near to God or lean on him as much. This might then make us more vulnerable to our weaknesses. Food for thought. As long as my defects are becoming less every day, then the goals for me, I ask God to remove on a daily basis.
Nice.
I'm working on it every day. All right. So basically, this is kind of a shout out. Christy, Matt K. This is people that have been checking in.
Matty.
Keith, Dustin,
Keith.
Ziegler. He's been coming around a lot more. Sean
Ashley.
B. Ashley.
Both
Joel,
Ashleys.
Both Ashleys. We've got Tom, good looking. Sean. These are shout outs to people who Sam.
Should we?
Yeah, let's do it. Dustin. You said both Ashleys, right?
Yeah, Ashley S. and Ashley K.
And Joel.
Who, Ashley K helped me a lot too. Just like
Yeah,
I
she's a
mentioned
little
it.
angel. She comes through.
She was a lot. She was one of the only people to talk to me at a certain point while I was living in the garage,
Yeah.
getting ready to get me into treatment every single day, and then I'd get another bag and I'd push it off.
Did you know her prior to, how did she know did you reach out to her when you're after the hotel thing?
She used to live with me when we were both kind of on. She was at her bottom. I was I was losing everything I had, and she was right there watching everything go away. And yeah, it was a bad time.
And she was there for you.
When she got sober, and she kind of reached out, even while I was still using, I was still going down, and she would check up on me every once in a while. How you doing? And I would tell her all the drama and everything that was going on, like it was a play going on in the house. And she's like, I'm glad I'm not like that anymore. She'd say, when you want to sober up, call me.
Little bear.
Little Bear.
Little bear. So is it what time we got? We're running. We're running.
I don't know.
Running with a
You'd have
shovel.
to tell me. I was gonna say just cut the promo quick.
No, you know what? Are we done with that?
She did it today, I guess.
Okay, well,
but
today, you know what? Hopefully, you guys got to come in
kinda-
here and eat one of the bomb $5
We're
plates
not-
of food at the
yeah.
Gratitude Cafe. It's coming to an end, apparently. So
Well,
just
I don't know if it's coming to an end. It's just like we're not really we're
Advertise-
not pumping it out. We're
Okay.
It's just if when Jane can do it. I mean, like today it was 100 degrees in that kitchen.
Right.
And that's not. She can't.
No,
do
no,
that.
I know. So basically, like when Gratitude Cafe, you know what? 2218 Ride for Recovery is Saturday, June 26th this year. So check it out. Like I believe the majority of everyone at this table is going to be involved with that. 8:30 to 9:30 pancake breakfast and registration. $5 donation. No addicts turned away though. 9:45 mandatory riding meeting. That's at the St. Paul Harley. I believe St. Paul Harley. Kickstands up at 10 a.m. Then we go on this ride. Anyone and everyone's invited to go on that ride who is a bike rider. So at 1:30 though, here at 2218,
Party.
big time. That's at 1:30. The festival kicks off officially, and it's just gonna be a day of fun. Like anyone and everyone, kid friendly, grandma friendly. Anyone and everyone's welcome to be here. Doesn't cost to come. Like donations are suggested, but it's nothing at the door. It's a blast. Like it's a blast. 4 p.m. we have a featured band coming through. Zoo Factor. It's gonna be pretty badass. Then at 5 p.m. we got the barbecue going on. At 6:30 there's a guest AA speaker. We're gonna have a medallion meeting at 7. We're gonna have the featured band again, pumped up some music. Then the silent auction, raffle, the drawings at 9. It's a whole day of fun, and there's still room for volunteers if you want to be part
Yep.
of the, helping out and
Come
keeping.
on, come on down to
Yeah.
the desk and get a volunteer slip and fill it out.
It's going to be a blast. Like that's part of 2218. That's what it does here. They have like right now. There's Recovery Okie downstairs every Friday night.
Which, speaking of that, so there's going to be a special
Yes, you
Pride
should-
Recover
yes.
Okie on what
The ninth-
it's no, it's the day before, the 25th.
Yes.
So the 25th of June, there's going to be a Pride karaoke, and it's called Out and Proud.
I believe so. And
Yeah,
sorry
we-
if we're saying it wrong.
I don't
but
have my
it-
phone because it's dead, but it's called Out and Proud, and Z is putting that on. Former guest Z's going to be on that night, but it's going to be kind of different because like he's going to be on. We're going to be in the back of karaoke.
Yes.
Doing a live show in the back while they're doing karaoke. We don't know how this is going to work, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Come check it out. Like if you're just an ally or you just want to check it out, and we're going to be pulling people from the audience.
Yes.
And so that being said, we'll have a producer on site like always. We're looking for someone maybe to deal with the guests.
Yeah,
Because
like
it's going to be many a guest.
multiple, just like the Ride for Recovery. I forgot to mention that.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be set up. This podcast, all this stuff, we're going to be set up. If you want
I'll
to
be doing the morning before.
Yep, and when I get back from the ride, I'll be on there as well. I'll be hosting.
As long as he
yes.
wants to go, and that
And that's going to be up to the listeners.
If he's 2-minute Timmy, then yay. If he's on till midnight,
told
if he's
you my nickname,
If
bro?
he's Marathon Man Timmy, then good for him.
No, that was the younger days.
So-
we'll play that by ear, and it's gonna just depend on how many people want to come. Just chop
if-
it up with me.
Yeah, if you want to come on and tell a story, read a chapter out of your favorite recovery book, whatever
Yes.
that may be, and you're here for the Ride for Recovery, you know what? Let's do it.
So here's a little synopsis on the Pride Sober and Proud Sober Pride event. It is Friday, June 25th at 7 p.m. We are going to be having a blast. Anyone and everyone's welcome to come. That's the other thing about 2218. Like, they're really evolving. We talked a lot about this in the early shows about the direction that everyone on the board and Tad, like, they're really monumental in doing
whole
here.
board.
Is really wanting to bring
The whole club,
yeah,
volunteers down.
and it's really changed just over these past 30 shows. Like starting new meetings with every variety of you can think of, every type of
Should we give-
anonymous program.
Should we give Gabby's little meeting a shout out?
Yeah, it's a new young
So there's a young person's NA meeting here at 6. I think it's at 6. Sorry if I'm wrong. On Wednesdays.
Yes.
And it's a NA, but it's young people, and
Yes.
you know what? They need help. If you want to help, they had 40 people, but a lot of these guys are in treatment, so they're going to need help.
Yeah.
Someone's paying. Actually, another meeting. Jitters paid for their year rent.
Thank you, Jitters, for doing
Yeah,
that.
dude, that's
Thank you big time.
crazy. That's how the program works. But you know what? If you have experience, so there's a lot of young people in recovery. If you're young at heart or have some time and you're of the younger persuasion, come check that meeting
Yes,
out.
they could use as much help as necessary. You know what? Here's the other thing too. Is like I have a lot of friends in recovery who have kids that are in recovery.
Yeah.
and the best they can do is bring them to one of the meetings we're in. Not I was about to say our meetings, but they're sufficient.
Everyone's meeting.
But these are young people's meetings. There's not many of those around. Like there's very few of those around. So if your kid's
They had
struggling,
40 people their first meeting.
like
That's
if
pretty
they're
good.
struggling, you have a kid who's struggling, just bring them down. Like let them check it out. We have fun in recovery. That's the thing.
Yeah, Dustin, you're not allowed.
Yeah.
They don't turn anyone away, but Dustin, I guess.
Who's here? Oh shit, Dustin's here.
Oh my gosh.
I like my sound effects. Like,
Well,
yeah.
what you got for time, buddy?
Well, time to get ill. 10 to. Oh wait, the rap battle. Holy shit!
Yeah,
You're
check
gonna
it
let
out,
that
but
slide by. No,
Yeah.
no. Let's take a second here to talk about this rap battle. Now, you know what? I'm Tim. I'm the one and only who you guys need to be coming down to check out. I'm the featured hip hop artist of the night.
That's not true.
Well,
He's the comedy.
I'm gonna say it's
he's
true.
the comedy part.
I'm gonna say it's
I don't.
true.
I
can
If I
rhyme
were a
words.
if I was a betting man, I would say one of two things: you're either not gonna rap, or someone's gonna come out of retirement and just smoke you, and you're gonna question your whole
Tad
life.
thinks he's gonna just like roast me. Like
No,
he's
I
about
got-
see Tad's about cutting people down, and that's okay.
Not in life. Not in life.
you
I
know
am
what?
not
I
about.
get joy out of watching someone
As-
be happy about what
when I
they're
was a
doing.
rapper, that was my rapping style. Much
Yeah.
like my hero.
Did you hear what he
Eminem.
said when he used to be a rapper?
Some of us here got paid to do that for a
and
living.
like a living,
So,
bro. I'm jealous.
I mean,
Like
At one
I'm
point-
sometimes overzealous.
oh my god.
What corner were you on?
Oh,
I was with Ruthless Records back in the day. So
like well, I was
and
with
I-
Rough Riders. Now what?
no, not the one in the same that you're thinking of, but with Kev Hodge.
Oh, shout out DMX.
Like-
What?
I toured out in Germany, so like I did it for a living, just like you do what you do. So I don't think it's funny if I cut you down for getting people jobs. You'd be pretty offended. Like, what corner do you get people's jobs on, Justin?
Oh, dude.
Like, no, I just did exactly what he did, and now it's oh, dude, like.
We're fucking having.
So I mean, obviously I wasn't
Back
Eminem,
to the
but
hip hop battle. So check it out. They call me Hula Hoop Legs Timmy. You can
no
come
one
see
calls you
me.
that except for-
There's no
It
crying
was
at the
loose
rap
legs,
battle.
Timmy.
I meant
No
you can,
crying at the rap battle.
you can come see Loose Legs Timmy down
Josh,
at the.
Josh B, who's helping put on the event, used to rap also, and it's possible the founders of Hope Dealers might be coming out of retirement.
I thought it was a for sure.
Well, no, we're going to do a featured song, but I'm trying to talk him into battling against you for the first round.
Oh, bucket. So here's the
I'm trying to get the best act I can to just.
just demolish me.
Yeah.
Nothing like the support. I love it. So
No, I'm set. Remember, it's like
there's
when you had a
also
big brother, they beat
here's
you
something
up,
else
you got
though.
Stronger.
I do want to bring up is the 3rd annual spaghetti dinner at Will Work for
Yeah,
Recovery.
yeah.
That's Sunday, June 13th at 11 a.m. You can get some tickets. I know Ashley has a ton of them. Raffles going on. Like Will Work for
That's
Recovery.
fun.
Yes, and it's
That was one of the first events I went to.
yeah, it's a blast. Like Will Work for Recovery is always doing stuff. 20 to 18, like
Go to Recovery Rocks.
yeah,
Recovery
Recovery.
Rocks.
Yep.
And they have all their stuff.
Yeah, here's the official Saturday, July 24th. The 2218 presents Sober Rap Battle Dance. Oh, and Dance Off. Oh, this is where Loose Legs Timmy comes about.
I think it's just going to be a dance. I don't think they're going to do a dance off because we didn't have enough people that wanted to, and we don't have any dancers. that know
Justin,
how-
dust off your penny loafers, dude. We're going as a dance duo. Come on. Come on, we can click our heels like that. That move.
I would pay to watch you two do like dance.
We don't dance no more. All we do is all right. So Ken,
Save the show.
save the show, bro.
Oh, I don't dance. I dance like a chicken.
I thought we'd take like 20 minutes to just talk shit. I thought that was that.
We can get into gratitude.
Yeah, you know what? We could spend, because we could each do a few minutes on gratitude. So, Kelly, check it out. We are really grateful you showed up tonight.
Yeah, if you're in the room, you get to say what you're grateful
all I
for
want to know
today.
is just tell me what you're grateful for this last week. Here. Yeah, anything. Whatever you're grateful
Yeah,
for. Kelly
mic's
came
on.
in with Justin tonight, and if she's okay with it, we'd like to hear what she's grateful for.
Thank you,
You're live.
Kelly.
Just life. I'm grateful for life.
Life. Shit, you can't be more grateful than that.
No.
Life.
That means everything. So
That's
she's
it.
grateful for everything.
Thank you.
So we're all gonna look like shit now.
I was gonna
Thanks,
say, I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I meant to put you on the spot. So thank you. So Ken, go into some detail about what you're grateful for this in life right now. What's going on with you? What are you grateful?
What am I grateful? I get to work with my 18-year-old kid.
That's what you're grateful for?
It's teaching me patience.
I was gonna say you're a better man than me.
It's teaching me, I don't know.
That's cool, though.
He just drives me absolutely crazy with that phone. Always got that phone in his hand. But the kid, I am very grateful that maybe I can teach him something. You know,
That's cool.
teach him a trade, teach him something. Maybe he'll have a future at a young age.
Right.
You know.
And you got good news about your other child's life, about how he's doing his long.
Oh, yeah,
like succeeding.
I got a 27-year-old that I haven't talked to in 10 years, and he wished my other daughter a happy birthday a couple days ago, and the pictures that I seen on his Facebook, it looks like he's doing pretty well for himself. So I'm very, 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 very grateful for that. You know, it's hard. It's hard being in recovery and not being able to, you know, especially when you have kids. And I know quite a few people in recovery that don't talk to their kids anymore. And their kids aren't a part of their lives because they fucked that shit up.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's no way to get it, you know. For me, I've been in recovery for a long time, and I try to live that living amends to all my children every day, because I put them through hell and high water for so many years. And I'm just grateful that, you know, if there are a couple other kids are using, but you know, they know where to come if they want help, and they've been around the AA program for a lot of years.
That's
So-
a really good point. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them went to Gopher State. They just terrorized Gopher State for 3 days. It was funny. So, yeah, but I'm just grateful, and period. I'm grateful I got to go to the game last night with you guys. You guys were a hoot.
Oh, that was great.
Talk
You
like an
know.
old man and shit. You youngins were a hoot.
Yeah. It was pretty cool, you know. Tim and his lightsabers, because they gave out these lightsabers, and he was beating everybody up with them. So it was pretty.
I didn't touch a
Broke
single-
every single one.
But I made some good Burning Man shit. Right?
And we're not going to get into Bernie.
No, you dropped the ball on that. When I asked you to share earlier, you should have brought up Burning Man. I
Burning Man stays at Burning Man. That's like Las Vegas.
no, and I know Tad is too, and we got into it, but we're real grateful for you, dude. Like
Yeah,
that was awesome.
That was cool.
Yeah, you gave us back something more than just bringing us to a game. Like you know, we shared about it at the beginning, and that's awesome.
You know
Thank
what the funny thing about it is when I was first in recovery, I had guys in my life that we'd go to games together every week, every other week. You know, recovery is about having more than just recovery. It's having friends in recovery that you can actually spend quality time with, and that's kids, girlfriends,
family,
friends,
family. Getting back to living life.
You know,
We robbed ourselves out of so much life in our youth.
yeah, or being responsible for life.
So Joel says he's grateful for being his sober community, for the strength God has given him to get through his hardships. Like, thanks for checking in, Joel, and thanks for sharing what you're grateful for. Hey, Justin,
Yeah.
what you grateful for, bro?
You know, I think the biggest thing I'm going through is dealing with kids, you know, in my life, my kids, Kelly's kids, you know, and they're challenged, you know, and in my past dealing with kids and trying to be on their terms and it just didn't work. You know, I didn't have the answers. You know, I was trying to win the battles with the kids and it just made it worse. And I think I'm just grateful that today when things are going on, I handle what's going on in their lives and I'm able to handle that stuff. And it's just really weird that I don't get upset at the kids, you know, when they're having a hard time. And I think my recovery's really allowed me to be a better parent. I mean, it just has, you know, and just knowing how to handle the situations. They've just really been going well lately, even though I've had some incidents. It's just.
Would you say you intuitively know how to handle situations that used to baffle you?
Look at him dropping some bug knowledge. I love my.
Yeah. It's just I'm grateful for it because it's allowed me to do it, to live life where I take a stressful situation and it doesn't knock everything in my life off track. You know, I would let a 12-year-old knock me off my off a relationship, off of my job, and and it's so nice that the recovery, being able to just be there and ride it out, and I think, you know, it's just helped in everything in my life, and I'm just grateful that recovery has allowed me to do that, because if I didn't have recovery, I wouldn't. It wouldn't work out like that, and my life wouldn't be working the way it does if I didn't have it. So I'm grateful.
It's awesome. Awesome.
That's awesome. And
Well,
you just, I don't know, you were beaming when you were talking about it too. That's really cool.
Justin shoots straight from the hip, bro. He's
Tim.
a hip shooter.
Are you gonna ask me, or do you?
No, I wasn't gonna cut you off. I'm gotta work on doing that. I've been cutting you guys off too much tonight. Ted, I've been meaning to ask you something.
Do you want to know that I want to know what you're grateful for, Tim?
You shithead. Well, I'm not gonna be saying I'm grateful for the air conditioning. Holy shit, sweating like.
Go downstairs, you will.
That's just because I'm here. It's
I
just-
know you're
I just
hot.
bring the heat.
There was a time I was at this. I was at. Oh shit! I could have used that for my rap talk.
Oh my god.
I was at this meeting, this men's meeting on Wednesdays at Will Work for Recovery at 5:00, and this guy was sharing. I think it was around Christmas. He was sharing like how it was so different that when he went to family this year for Christmas, like he was there with family, being present, not worried about leaving, not worried about going to do this, listening to people. Like he shared about that, and I don't know why, but it stuck with me. That was you, Justin. You shared about that right after Christmas. Like you noticed some change then. Someone else was sharing about an issue they were having, and you're like you knew things were different when you went to Christmas. I think it was Christmas with your kids, and like you were there, present with them. It just stuck out. I don't know. It's not what I'm grateful for. It's just what I remember. And
I
wanted to
wasn't
bring
waiting
that up.
for my $100 card. So
Yeah,
that
that's
I could,
what it was. Yeah.
So I could go buy crack. I was
Yeah.
just waiting for that.
Yeah.
And make the call and hit him on the way home.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I remember when you said
Done that before.
I think that was like either
Been there.
last Christmas or the Christmas before. The reason why is it touched home with me because there was a Christmas where I went like to the bottom of the driveway of my parents' house to meet the tar man. Like the shit that our addiction does. It had me doing things that I just never thought I'd do or ever wanted to do, and I did. And it's shameful, but it makes me who I am today. So what I'm grateful for is that family. I talk about the driveway. I went down and did that horrendous shit. I'm grateful for my mother and my father and having family who's there for me. Like, we usually burn those bridges first. And Was on the phone with someone for like 4 hours last night. Like I've never talked on the phone for more than a half hour, and I was on for like a long time. And I realized through my addiction, I held my family hostage the whole time, to my lies, to my actions, to my bullshit. Legal, like I put them at risk for prison time, like the shit I did, and they're still there for me, like no matter what.
Your family's very supportive.
No matter what. Like, and that goes to extended family. I have family who's listening that they're not in the program. It's support for their Uncle Timmy or their cousin Tim. It's like, I'm grateful, and I don't take that for granted because I know I've heard enough people share about those bridges they burnt that they'll never get that family back, no matter how many years of recovery they have. It's just over with. And I'm just grateful I have that. I'm also grateful that I can come to someone and say, hey, you want to make a 2-hour commitment tomorrow night or tonight and come on the show and just be put on blast and tell us about yourself in front of hundreds and hundreds of people? I'm grateful for that. That's the relationships we make in recovery. I'm grateful. So with all that shit said, I love you, Mom. Tad, what are you grateful for?
Well, I'm grateful I get to live this life. And I know that sounds cliche, but like, dude, I shared this with you. I probably haven't said it on air, but like, when I went to that work party, and so I do all the stuff I do, but I also work at a bar now. I do security and I run food. And I went to a party and I brought my sister, because my sister works in that type of industry. And she had, she came on the show in December or whatever it was and had set up her rules, said she had rules. So I followed her rules because they've been working for her. Just like, our predecessors in this program. I was honest with that, but like never in a million years would I have thought that I get to live this life, that I'd be 2+ years clean, and then I'd go to work in an industry I never did, being downtown bar scene, which is crazy, and then that I'd be, one of my best work friends would be an ex-police officer. If you'd have told me that, I'd have told you there's a lot of things that are going on with you, and there's a lot of things that will never happen. I came into this program still mad at the police because it was a lifestyle choice, and because that was, something that was ingrained in me, and they're just people. Like this individual is one of my favorite people. We're actually talking about starting a podcast. Her and I called Ex-Con and Ex-Cop.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that we got cooking. I'm grateful that the RWO is going to be kicking off soon.
Recovery World
Order. That's going to be Timmy and I's podcasting network, and we're going to be hopefully co-oping with Keith Campbell and his organizations. I just dropped his full name, but he doesn't care.
We're gonna be networking with tons of places.
Tons of
Eventually,
places.
maybe get into Will Work and like Hope Dealers, all that shit.
Yeah,
we do
JP.
We do this thing together.
I'm grateful I get to do this stuff, and this is my life. Like, this is the first time in my life that I'm grateful that this is my life. I was always like in fantasy land wishing my life was different, even when I would be like, I'm the shit, And I've never before in my life been grateful that I get to do this stuff, that I have this life. I've never said that till now, recently. So that's cool in itself.
Oh yeah, no, that's good shit. And you know what? On a side note, Ken, thank you for last night. That was awesome. Thank you. That was cool. I said I was going to publicly thank you.
Oh, yeah, thank you. We both said we were going to publicly thank you. I dropped the ball. I'm sorry. I suck.
Thanks for the wild tickets, Ken.
Yeah.
Here's where the big cups of haterade come in.
That's where it comes.
Like, dude, you got people hating on you that's never met you.
Right.
My brother's over there. The first thing he called me this morning, he's like,
the playoffs and you don't call me?
my brother, the first thing he said to me this morning, he's like, oh, thanks for or how was the game you didn't take me to last night?
Oh, man. My buddy was like, who the fuck is Ken? And you just know him from around. I'm like, Tim got me in. And guess what? Jesse went with.
Yeah.
And he's watched 2 hockey games his whole life, too, and he had a blast also.
No, I think it's 3.
3. Yeah. Oh, dude. Me and Jesse were going nuts at times.
Yeah.
You would have thought we were what? And I was a hockey fan before. It just I quit watching it.
Well, we hope they win tomorrow night, and then
Then you get the
Then it'll be serious time.
No, we get to go to Game 5.
Well, when we win
Or
tomorrow,
six.
when
Six.
we
Yeah.
when we
When-
win tomorrow
yeah.
night, it'll be tied.
And the
series.
way it is like the people that went before, they're the grandfather ones who get to go again, and that's cool. I mean, we appreciate that.
Yeah, I think Bob has an issue with that
Oh,
one.
Bob was not happy. Hey, Bob got to catch big fish tonight, and he just had a badass campfire meeting. So
yeah,
he's-
Bob's living the life. He's,
he's
living,
living
the
his
dream.
best life.
Yeah.
We love Bobby B.
Should we get on to buzzer beaters?
I'd like to buzz a beat. I'd like
Okay.
to beat a buzz.
So, what buzzer beaters are, for those of you who don't know and the people in this room, it's just a quick question and just first thing that comes to
Pay
mind.
attention.
Yep. So, and today's going to be very, very easy. Favorite thing that you're looking forward to watch?
Kelly, favorite thing you're looking for
Coming up, or it could be Netflix, TV, anything.
movie, anything. Favorite thing to watch. You could say my man doing a wheelie on his motorcycle.
Yeah, I
My
didn't.
favorite thing to watch?
Favorite thing
What,
to watch.
favorite
Looking
or what
forward.
you're looking forward to? How
How
about
to
both?
Kill your husband.
Every day she's taking notes.
You should have cut his parachute.
Awesome.
Wow, mic drops.
Little dark.
Yeah, that was great, Justin.
You
How to
know,
videotape my wife killing me. No, I'm joking.
my favorite thing to watch coming up is my kids got a baseball tournament this weekend, so we're gonna go
Nice.
down and watch them play some baseball.
Nice.
And that's it. No work, no nothing, but spend some time watching my kid.
That's awesome, Saz. Quick, Ken. Favorite thing that you're looking forward to watch.
Holy cow.
Holy Timmy doing the
5.
hippie shake coming
He was
up
like,
on the
bam!
26th of June.
Oh, at the Loose Legs Timber.
That's July.
June.
Oh, the hippie. Is the dance
The
on?
hippie shake.
Why are you going to be hippie shaking at the bike run too?
No, he said the June 20th. You know what? He's talking about the rap battle.
Yeah.
Dance off.
Yeah, he mixed up the days.
Ted, what are you looking forward to seeing or watching or coming up?
Oh, you already know. I'm looking forward to my LA Lakers winning the record-setting most championships in the history of the NBA this year. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Never had a clue.
No, never.
They're tied with the Boston Celtics for 15. When they win their 16th this year and go back-to-back and repeat, they're going to break, they'll be the league.
Don't they
Later.
have LeBron playing on that team?
I'm
Yeah,
sure.
LeBron,
the best money
maybe.
can buy. I'm sure.
LeBron's like 150
Years old?
in basketball years.
I thought they closed the NBA.
No,
Oh.
no, never did.
Is that the one with the where they shoot balls?
Oh my
bounce the
God!
ball?
Now you guys are gonna hate.
No, I'm not.
You guys must not have jump shots. That's what it is.
Absolutely not.
Somebody blocked you in
Dude,
high school and you're mad.
You're talking to a 5'4" fat kid. Hell no, I'm not a basketball fan. Dude, that was like you want to talk about hoop dreams?
basketball.
Yeah, dude. Shit, I'm smuggling a basketball. Look at this.
He was the tile.
I'm like
boy.
eight months basketball prego.
You got the same beard as James Harden.
But we don't have the same wallet. Shit.
Nope.
Dang nabbit.
Tim.
Yo.
What are you looking forward to
My
watch?
niece is getting married in Florida, and I am looking forward to going to her wedding. That's going to be awesome sauce.
Oh my gosh, that's
I'm
awesome.
very excited. I'm very happy for them 2 kids, and it's cool. I get to see her go. I get to see her married, and I get to leave. Hopefully, she's going to do it in the middle of winter, but I think it's already said. Blah, blah, blah. I'm very looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to the new season of Rick and Morty coming up
Oh,
in
hell
a few
yeah.
days. I
Booyah!
think the 20th. I sent you
June,
the
yep, June
info.
20th. You said
Look at Rick and Morty. I'm not.
that's my favorite show ever.
I'm only
I forgot
40 and
all
I'm
about
looking
that.
forward to a cartoon coming out. What?
That's what's up.
It's that easy.
Do you know
Maybe
who's?
that's why you're single.
I think we made it clear why I'm single.
It's because he chooses to be single.
That's the best cop out until I find
it doesn't.
a girl, dude.
It doesn't. He's not including if all the ladies choose to let him be single too, but he chooses. so
Exactamundo.
You got to create your own narrative, man.
Yeah, whatever.
Hey Tim, do you know who's on next week?
You gotta have goals.
My goals. You don't want to know what my goals are.
Nope.
They're my goals, Ken. All right, so check it out. Next week is the week after this.
Yep. Next week
Okay.
is the week after this, and it's
So,
gonna be a great week. I'm just filling time so that you can do
So
our
it was
guests.
gonna be. I mean, initially it was gonna be Native Paul and
Yep, I got to call him this week.
Okay,
so
so-
he'll be on. I got to find his co-guest.
Yes.
So to be determined. I got like 5 guys that said they'd be on with him.
So it's gonna be like we're gonna. I don't know what you'd say structurally. It's gonna be. He's a Native American is what that meant. So
Yeah, it's Paul
Native
Bunny.
American, yes.
Bunny is his name.
And
I got to
he's
call
really
him.
big into the recovery community. So
And
there'll be lots of things to be.
I got a
talked
couple
about.
people that said they'd be on with him, so I just got to call and make sure their schedules and see which one can do it.
Right.
So,
right. Because honestly, I mean, full disclosure, that might be. I might end up being absent Friday, but I'll know by tomorrow night about that.
Oh, if you're going to be absent, I can. Then I can get.
Yeah, I
Oh
know.
yeah, we can.
We kinda talked about
We can go
that.
full native on the show.
That's what I mean. I don't want to put in a monkey wrench because then after that we're gonna do the whole Hebe thing, and my boy Matt's coming on, and you're not gonna be here, and I'm gonna we'll go down that road later.
Okay. Cool beans. Anyways, yeah, we want. Sorry, guys. Hey, we want to thank our guests.
Yes, Ken, thank you. Justin, thank you, and Kelly, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Thanks for having me.
You close out the rest. I'm gonna.
Yeah. Hey,
Jesus family.
we want to thank 2218 for letting us host their podcast here, and we want to thank all of you for listening. Make sure you hit that like button and share with a friend, and tell people in recovery about this.
Bam. Hit that share.
So, everybody have a great weekend. You're worth it. You're amazing. You matter, and that's the show.